Hello everyone, I would like to talk with you about the rental agreements. As an expats, you may see yourself a bit locked and not knowing what to do and what are the procedures to be followed if you want to renegotiate your rent following the economic crisis. Well, there are a few things you may want to consider, and apparently the law is different in every country. If you look at Belgium, um, there are two ways. Well, every negotiation would start with every discussion would start with a letter. At least you have to show your intent. There is nothing bad in writing a letter to your landlord and explaining him the reasons, what is going on, and by how much you'd like the rent to be changed, and from which date till which date. In effect, our tool at viralhelp.online gives you this questionnaire, composes for you the letter that you may send to the landlord to start the negotiation. You'd have to be prudent and not ask too much. We don't think that any landlord would agree for a reduction more than 30% of the current rent. Most likely you'll ask for 30 and you end up having 20 or 25. It's not a guaranteed result. We don't know your landlord. It's their goodwill to negotiate and to agree with you. There is another way. If you have a long-term contract, that being of 9 years, you have the right to negotiate officially, according to the law, the conditions of your rent, and that you have to do every at the end of 2 years, 4 years, and 6 years. So once that's finished, you have that window of opportunity of a few months before during which you can actually ask the renegotiate officially, and it will be an official procedure. If the landlord refuses or doesn't agree to it, or he just does not react, then the only way you can do about it is just file a complaint with the juge de paix, that being the peace court. There is in Brussels, for example, there are quite a bit of them. They're open from 9 till 1. You may submit your complaint by a simple letter. You would need to pay a fee that is normally being between 20 and if I remember well, 60 euros. It depends on how many people there are. Like if you rent it with a spouse, or just there's only one tenant, and it also depends on the value of the rent. So you start with writing a letter. If you find an agreement, that's fine. If not, you have to see if you can do the negotiation officially if you have a long-term contract. Be also careful if you are willing to renegotiate the rent and your rent contract is expiring soon, then you may find yourself in the situation that your landlord refuses to extend your rental contract if it is not made automatically. So just be careful when you start negotiating, just not to get yourself out. Um, Anything happens if you don't find an agreement, you still have quite a bit of time to find yourself a new place. Even if you end up in court and the landlord is mean and decides to take you to court for eventual expulsion, it is not so easily possible. Well, first of all, the courts are closed now. Once they open, there's a backlog of cases from March. Then there is a suspension on any expulsion. So if you find yourself with your rent ending, or you have no agreement with your landlord, you still have quite a bit of months before an expulsion, you say, take the worst case scenario, may take place. So we wish you good luck. If you have questions, get in touch. About Luxembourg, for you to negotiate rent, the idea is, again, well, in any country, you have to talk to the landlord. If you don't find agreement, there is in every country there is a different rule. As we just discussed, Belgium and Luxembourg. For you to rediscuss the rent, you also have special times when you can do it, and you have to bring arguments, and you may end up in a commission, a rent commission that decides whether the rent is equivalent or not. If it's adequate or not. So if you need help, get in touch with us just to start negotiating with your landlord. Use our forms. If it comes to the court, yeah, we will guide you which form you'll need to fill in and how to submit it to the court. It most likely it will be handled by the justice de paix, that being the peace court, so the lower level instance in every judicial system. Good luck.